number in overtime. Oh, gee, baby, I have to get my fill now because I'm going to be gone for a while. And I just showed you something that you had not seen. Mitt Romney. Here, I'll let you read the headline.
Mitt Romney mocks Trump's foreign wives. Quote, "There really are jobs Americans won't do." It's a funny line, but it really doesn't jive with the Romney classy brand.
That's what I was going to say. I feel like Romney is like the guy in like high school or college that we all kind of perceive to be the good guy. And then you get to know him a little better. Like, you're like super shady. You're not like a nice guy at all.
Does Romney really want to stick his toe into the wife discussion?
Ooh. Yeah. I mean, that's opening up
like a really odd place to go.
Yeah, you don't think Trump's not going to go there?
Yeah. Oh, he will on a bus.
That's what I was going to say. I mean, it's opening the door for what was the pun you made earlier, Rachel? Big love.
Yeah, you didn't even know you said that.
Did I?
Ooh,
I didn't. What did I say?
That.
You said big love when you were talking about Romney.
Oh, you know what we need a drummer in the studio to do the especially on
Play it all week, folks.
Yeah. No. If I'm Ann Romney, I'm like super heated at Mitt for that. Like, why are you going to open the door? Now I'm vulnerable to Trump's, you know.
Yeah, Trump's going to go after me.
Exactly.
Well, they're going to start to go after Mormons. I mean, that's what he's going to have to talk about. And then it's going to delve into an even more uncomfortable place.
But I tell you, we talked about it in the show. It cannot get any closer to the ground where we are right
We're tripping. What did you said, Harris, we're doing the flamenco under it? Like,
yeah, like go
we're
over the bar, and because you couldn't get under it, you'd break your spine. Right, the bar's so low.
Like 2 inches off the ground.
Yeah.
I do think that it's about, I really believe that it has to be about, because he doesn't ever do anything that isn't, I mean, sometimes he's off the... No, Trump. I mean, I really think he's signaling, I will go after Hillary. I will not be afraid to go after Bill. I will expose them.
He doesn't have to signal it. We believe him.
You know what? He probably has the most dirt on them because he did have a pre-existing relationship with the Clintons. So, look... If you're the Republican Party, I'm just saying maybe not such a bad idea to have somebody who's probably got greater intel on the Clintons than anybody else in the race.
But I think the Clinton stuff is out there. I just think that up until now, everyone was kind of like Mitt. Everyone was sort of very gentle, handling things, and Trump is the first one to really... You know, when he said, watch out, if you call me a sexist, I'm going after Bill, and they kind of backed out and they were afraid. I think it's about signaling... I'm going to be the tough guy that nobody in the Republican side ever was. They play hardball, we play softball. I'm going to play hardball for you guys.
You know, I see Red Peanut with a comment about Trump, and it's not very nice, so I'm not going to read it. But the gist of it is a question, and that is, you know, who is supporting him and who is against him? And why do we care so much about controlling the venue of voting? Why don't we just let it play out?
They are going to let it play out until the convention, and then they're going to try to wheel and deal. And I think there's a real risk if Trump doesn't win well the next couple weeks.
Win well.
If he doesn't domino into this thing and cross the threshold, they're going to jack it away from him, and then you're going to see riots, and it's going to be chaos. So, and there's no savior. Stop with the Ryan stuff and the Romney stuff. It's Trump or go home. And this guy's going to go down swinging, or he's going to win this thing, and you're going to have the House, the Senate, and the White House. And then people can move Trump to the right or move him to the left afterwards.
Can I ask you a question, Andrea? You and I haven't talked about this in a long time. You know, with President Obama, there was almost this Messiah effect that people had. You know, you remember very early on the column speeches where he'd bring in like the big columns, and it always looked like an episode of something. Yes.
I felt like I was home.
Yeah.
He just needed a toga. My Greek goddess, yes, you did. But my point with all of this is, wouldn't the American public have already, you know, let its taste for another search for someone to deliver all of us lapse? Wouldn't they just be looking for leadership after that? It's just a question.
I mean, I think they are, and I think for a lot of them, they see it in Donald Trump. And when you look at the news cycle, I mean, it's remarkable. The news cycle follows Donald Trump time and time again. So he's the one that started this immigration debate, and then you saw the murder of Katie Steinle. Now you see what's happening with Muslim immigration in Europe. And here, because we've covered instances, right, in California and Texas where two ISIS refugees as suspects that were born in Iraq and came here were apprehended. So it all plays into his favor. What I don't understand, though, is this effort to continuously, even though he has a lion's share of the delegates, and, as you mentioned, Jesse, it looks like these next couple of contests are in his favor. I don't understand the get him out mentality. They've tried it. It's failed. To see campaign consultants on Meet the Press on Sunday, consultants that have made millions of dollars. Millions of dollars. Stuart Stevens, Steve Schmidt, back again. And it makes me wonder, have you guys not made enough money? I mean, really, no, you have interfered in every single election in recent memory, and you've lost. And now you're back at the table with an anti-Trump PAC, shaking down Republican voters for more money to pad your wallets against the will of the people. Now, of course, they have a right to do that. We do have freedom of speech in this country. You can support who you want to support. Campaign finance laws support this kind of behavior. I just don't think it's helpful to the party.
But Andrea, is it leadership or is it just branding and marketing? I mean, yes, he's leading the news cycle, but is he really offering? I mean, I just don't see any substance behind it. I mean, it's a headline, it gets him in the news, but there's just no policy. He shows no intellectual curiosity.
I would disagree with that on a few levels. He has a very detailed tax plan. You're going to see your taxes go down, and I know you're looking for tax relief because you got another kid on the way. And he wants to build a wall, and he wants to pause on
You did not just go there with the pregnant lady.
Listen, she's got another mouth to feed.
I'm just not sure Donald Trump is into the whole
diapers
child.
are expensive.
I know, but
she's in favor of the child tax credit, I think.
Very much in favor of the child tax credit.
So to say the guy doesn't have a policy position, he has policy positions.
Taxes, but on all these issues, she's not getting headlines on taxes. He's getting headlines on Muslims, on Katie Steinle.
Okay, right, and I hear you, Rachel. I think, let's take a step again back in time to 2008's election, where many people had the same critique of President Obama, right? And you know what? He won overwhelmingly, and he won again in 2012. I think that people need to understand there's a big difference in this country between being elected and governing. Yeah. And some people are better at one and not the other. Some people can do both well. So I think it remains to be seen how Trump will be governing. But certainly, I think he's doing a pretty good job of getting himself.
And I don't think it's one specific answer on this, because there are areas that I do think the details are pretty thin with Trump. But in other areas, they're not. And he's saying things that people don't have the courage to say. He has shirked all protocol, all political correctness, and people, especially from an electorate that's been forgotten, the middle class, squeezed out by both the establishments on the right and the left, by trade deals that have shut out the American worker. You see Democrats trying to give amnesty away, and I think you see that swath of voters going, I like Trump because I talk like him. He speaks for me. He represents me. I don't care about details. I care that someone actually has my back.
Messaging.
I think you're right on. I think there's a lot of, even within the Hispanic community, I can just tell you this anecdotally, there's a lot of closet Trump voters.
Completely.
Well, I don't know how closet they are. I mean, I've seen a lot of these people, on social media, on television. Yeah. I mean, there is
people
a feeling.
Kind of lump them all together.
I want to get a couple people in from the live chat. I'm just going to read these out. Scribble646, a regular viewer, thank you. So Trump started the immigration debate, when back in 2012, when he said Mitt Romney's immigration policy was too harsh. That's one. Meet old Uncle Jeff. I'm sure he's lovely. Why, after watching the failure of a, quote, celebrity president for the past 7 years, and the Republicans now about to nominate a celebrity president, in case anybody wants to weigh in on that. Anybody?
I read an interesting piece about that talked about how Barack Obama's election was the opening for what we're seeing with Donald Trump, and I actually agree with quite a bit of it. I'll just leave it there.
Captain Dino Harris, can you please ask Jesse to visit the college campus that you talked about and start revoking man cards for those who cannot handle campaign ads during an election year? Please, Captain Dino.
Because I am so manly, I should be in charge of yanking guys' man cards. I should buy a ticket right now down there.
You should. You should go tomorrow.
Oh, wait, so if you're looking, so J. Cole 3 says Waters World should go to Emory in Atlanta.
Watch out, Emory. I'm coming out with chalk.
All right. Oh boy, you might get arrested.
I'm going to write Andrea's name down there.
You can have a big box of chalk.
All right, so we're going to wrap it up, but before we go, I saw a couple of just trending items on here. 100 days, this plan against Donald Trump. 100 days to push against him. He has over 700 delegates now. There are 944 left. So potentially, if he goes big, he could get enough. It is still, the numbers are still there.
It's down to Wisconsin.
They waited way too long for this. They really let this guy slide in and dominate, and then now it's too late, so he's going to get in. His numbers in terms of favorability really started coming down in mid-February when they started slinging mud, when they started talking about he's a phony, he's a liar, Trump University, and throwing stuff around like that. And the KKK stuff did not help him very much either. And he hasn't spent money. He spent no money, and he's getting killed by negative advertising. If he spent a little more money, it might be able to help him. He needs to be more presidential and stay disciplined on trade, illegal immigration, and national security. I think he'll be just fine.
And he needs to finish strong, to your point, Josie. How you finish does matter. How you go into convention
Ted is
matter.
playing hard in Wisconsin. I'm telling you, I can already see everything happening in Wisconsin. That's going to be a very decisive
How is
vote.
Wisconsin going to go?
It's really interesting.
Trump was up 5 points and 10 points in polls last month.
So it's divided in two parts. In my husband's district, which is very blue-collar, Rust Belt, where people lost a lot of manufacturing, it's all Trump.
Right.
And he's pulling Democrats as well. But all the Republican...
Is that an open?
No, it's not. It's not. But he's got a lot of support there. And then in Milwaukee, the suburbs, which are very Republican, all Ted Cruz. So there's a lot at play, and they are making calls on the Cruz front. I mean, it's all happening.
Well, I know one thing. It's exciting.
Yeah, maybe.
Hey, have a great Easter. I won't see you, but they will. It'll be awesome.